The next item, which I understand is the last item, on the agenda is an information item to provide us with the status of the Designated Officer Program for 2016, as outlined CMD 18M10 and 18M10.A. I'll turn the floor to Mr. LeBlanc. Go ahead, please.
Merci et bonjour, Monsieur le Président et les membres de la Commission. Comme on vient d'énoncer, mon nom est Marc Leblanc, je suis le secrétaire de la Commission. I am very fortunate to have here with me today Monica Ernoff, who is the lead Commission Technical Officer in the Commission Secretariat, as she is very versed, a lot more than I am, on this topic. We are here today to present the report on the status of the Designated Officer Program for 2016. In this presentation, we will provide you with a brief background on the DO program, DO being designated officers. I think the members now are getting, the new members, some of those acronyms better understood. Information about the authorities carried out by DOs in 2016. Information on notices of violation and related administrative monetary penalties, also known as AMPs, that are issued by DOs. Information on decisions that were reportable to the Commission, and this is a key feature of this report because there is a statutory requirement to report to the Commission on some of those decisions, and DO program updates, initiatives that have been undertaken since the last update to the Commission in 2016. I will now pass the presentation to Ms. Ernoff.
Good afternoon, members of the Commission. So first I'll start off with, during the presentation of the 2015 DO report, the Commission requested that the data presented include more detailed information and be grouped by specific actions. So to address this action, this 2016 report includes more information about licensing and certification authorities carried out, including license issuance, renewal, amendment, revocations, and transfers, as well as certifications and decertifications of persons and equipment. Additionally, more details are provided regarding the DO positions at the CNSC, as well as about the continuous improvement initiatives and other DO program updates. Now, a little background on the CNSC's DO program. The DO program is a key component of the CNSC's licensing and compliance framework. DOs have been carrying out their authorities since 2000, when the Nuclear Safety and Control Act came into force and the DO program was established. In 2014, the Commission accepted a revised DO program and designated 31 DO positions, which better reflected the CNSC's operational needs. Currently, the CNSC has DOs in 7 directorates of the regulatory operations and the technical support branches. The implementation of the DO program is a collaborative undertaking between many CNSC divisions and directorates. DOs have statutory powers and carry out authorities under the Nuclear Safety and Control Act. These include licensing, certification, and compliance authorities, making up a significant part of the CNSC's regulatory framework. DO authorities include making lower risk licensing decisions, making decisions in respect of inspector orders, making orders, and issuing administrative monetary penalties, or AMPs. Now on this slide, a little bit of clarification or precision is needed on the first point. A DO decision is as effective as a Commission decision, since it is authorized by the NSCA and the Commission has authorized the DO to make the decision. There are, however, 2 levels of authority between DOs and the Commission. DO decisions are subject to Commission review or appeal, which, in of itself, is reflective of these 2 levels of authority. As such, an applicant or a licensee may appeal a DO decision to the Commission. This is provided for in the NSCA. Further of note is that DOs providing an opportunity to be heard to an applicant or licensee is a statutory requirement for certain decisions, such as license refusals and revocations. So before providing information about DO positions that exist at the CNSC, an overview of the CNSC organizational chart as it relates to DO staffing provides insight into how DO staffing is structured. At the top, we have the President and CEO, as well as yourselves, the Commission. The Commission designates certain positions within the CNSC to have DO authorities. The highest level positions at the CNSC with DO authorities are the Vice President positions in the Regulatory Operations and Technical Support branches. This is followed by Directors General in 7 directorates, Directors in 6 divisions, and then Senior Officers in those divisions. The next slide will provide more information on how these authorities are distributed within the organization to ensure continuity of operations. CNSC DOs carry out authorities in accordance with their position and operational responsibilities at the CNSC. DOs in more senior positions, such as Directors General, have a broader scope of authorities than DOs in less senior positions, such as Directors. The Vice Presidents of the Regulatory Operations Branch and Technical Support Branch have all of the authorities of the DOs in their respective branches. This pyramid-style allocation of DO authorities ensures continuity of operations. Should a DO be unable to carry out their authorities, a DO at the same or higher level in the same directorate or a vice president could carry out the authority. This continuity is especially important because DO powers are not transferable between CNSC staff, and DOs have been designated by the Commission by name. This chart provides a breakdown of DO authorities by CNSC directorate. The Commission has designated 31 positions in both the regulatory operations and technical support branches to carry out the lower risk authorities provided for by subsection 37.2 and section 65.05 of the NSCA. You'll see that there are 13 DOs in the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation. This is due to the volume of the lower risk licensing and certification authorities carried out by that directorate, making up a large part of this key program. Based on the authorities given to a DO by the Commission, DOs can carry out the licensing of lower risk facilities and nuclear activities, the certification and decertification of prescribed equipment or of persons for the purposes of the NSCA, the designation of CNSC inspectors, confirming, amending, revoking, or replacing orders made by CNSC inspectors, as well as making orders, issuance of return to work authorizations of persons whose dose exceeded the prescribed dose limits, and issuance of notices of violations, or AMPs. In 2016, DOs carried out a total of 4,268 authorities. Additional information on these authorities is provided in the following slides. So of the authorities carried out in 2016, the majority were licensing and certification authorities, and these included 2,347 nuclear substance, radiation device, and transport licenses issued, renewed, amended, transferred, or revoked by the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation. It also included 1,309 import and export licenses issued, amended, revoked, or transferred by the Directorate of Security and Safeguards, and the certification of 455 exposure device operators and 98 persons in specific Class 1A positions by the Directorate of Safety Management. Not shown on the slide are also 6 licensing authorities carried out by the Directorate of Nuclear Cycle and Facilities Regulation and the Directorate of Environmental and Radiation Protection and Assessment. DOs also carried out 47 non-licensing authorities, including 15 inspector designations and 6 return to work authorizations. As can be seen from the figure shown on the slide, Out of both licensing and compliance authorities carried out in 2016, over half, 2,380, were carried out by the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation. This was followed by authorities carried out by the Directorate of Security and Safeguards and the Directorate of Safety Management. As discussed in the previous slides, DOs are designated in multiple CNSC divisions and directorates based on operational responsibilities. The fact that 3 directorates carried out the majority of authorities should not be taken as an indication that DOs are not required in the other directorates. The DOs in those directorates are authorized to carry out specific authorities that are unique to the expertise of the staff found in those directorates. Now we will move on to administrative monetary penalties, or AMPs. In 2016, 9 AMPs were issued by DOs, including 1 AMP by the Director General of the Directorate Power Reactor Regulation and 8 AMPs by the Director General of the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation. All persons issued with a notice of violation and AMP were advised of the opportunity to request a review by the Commission of the amount of the penalty, the facts of the violation, or both. Although 1 request for review was initially filed, it was later withdrawn. As such, all AMPs issued in 2016 were all paid in full and the matters are now closed. So as Mr. Leblanc mentioned, the reporting of decisions pursuant to subsection 37.5 of the NSCA is the only statutory reporting requirement for DOs. This DO report, when presented to the Commission, will fulfill this requirement for 2016. But I would like to take a minute here to differentiate between decisions reported to the Commission under subsection 37.5 and decisions made by DOs that have to be referred to the Commission under subsection 37.6. Decisions that would be referred to the Commission are those that DOs make in respect of making DO orders. The NSCA requires that when a DO uses her or his authority to make an order, the order be referred to the Commission. The Commission then has to decide to confirm, amend, revoke, or replace the order. In 2016, DOs did not make any orders, and as such, no orders were referred to the Commission for review. Now back to the decisions that are reportable to the Commission. These include license refusals, the issuance of licenses with a financial guarantee, the renewal of a license with a change in conditions, or the suspension, amendment, revocation, or replacement of a license without the consent of the licensee, and the confirmation, amendment, revocation, or replacement of an inspector order. In 2016, DOs made 1,170 decisions that were reportable to the Commission. The majority of these decisions were issued by the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation DOs. Were licenses issued by the Directorate of Nuclear Substance Regulation DOs that included a financial guarantee requirement. DOs also confirmed or revoked 17 inspector orders. Of note is that although DOs revoked orders, this was not because the orders were found to not be warranted. Rather, it was a procedural error. The orders should have been confirmed. However, corrective actions have been put in place in this regard. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about some DO program updates and improvement initiatives. The DO program is constantly evolving as part of the CNSC's commitment to continuous improvement. In 2016, there were 15 DO position staffing changes. With these staffing changes, CNSC staff ensured that all new DOs and DOs changing positions participated in the DO training and assistance program. This included briefings with the Commission Secretary and Senior General Counsel, self-directed learning of DO documentation, and on-the-job learning. In the last year, it was clarified, or rather DOs were reminded, that they have access to CNSC legal counsel for advice respecting the exercise of DO authorities at any time. It is important to note that this has always been the case and does not reflect a change in procedure. Finally, a DO community page and DO bulletin board were created on the CNSC intranet. The community page has resources for DOs and informs CNSC staff about the DO program. The bulletin board provides DOs with updates, changes, and improvements to the program. Further, during 2016, work instructions, templates, guidance documents, and additional training materials were developed for DOs with the authority to make orders. All of the DOs with this authority and their administrative assistants have participated in this training. During the presentation of the 2015 DO report, the suggestion for the establishment of a DO community forum was raised by the Commission. This was further recommended during a CNSC self-assessment on the DO licensing process. CNSC staff are organizing this DO forum, which will bring together DOs to share knowledge, experience, and expertise. This forum, which is planned for April 2018, will also feature information on tools and resources available to DOs, case studies from experienced DOs, and briefings from the Secretariat and Legal Services to provide DOs with some refresher training. Also in 2016, CNSC staff carried out a DO licensing process self-assessment, which highlighted good practices and also made recommendations for improvements to the DO program. The intent of the self-assessment was to assess the availability of tools and other resources to facilitate the DO's statutory decision-making in a consistent and transparent manner, not the decisions themselves. Overall, the assessment showed that a well-established DO licensing process was in place. The self-assessment identified 7 key recommendations accepted by CNSC management, and a management action plan to address them was established. In addition to the recommendation for a DO community forum, these recommendations included that all DOs, new and existing, undergo the DO Training and Assistance Program. As of December 2017, all DOs had undergone this program, most within the last year and a half. Reminding DOs that they have access and always have had access to CNSC legal counsel, carrying out self-assessments of DO decision processes every 5 years. The self-assessment also recommended that the DO program maintenance plan be updated. Through this update, CNSC staff identified a benefit of a briefing for new DOs that includes information about the tools, training, and learning opportunities available to them. All future DOs will attend this briefing, and updated information about these resources will be provided to current DOs during the community forum in April 2018. I will now pass the presentation back to Monsieur Leblanc.
Merci, Monica. So in conclusion, during 2016, DOs carried out 4,268 authorities. Of these, 1,170 were reportable to the Commission, and the main purpose being the main purpose of our presentation today. Another purpose in our presentation today was to introduce in a more fulsome manner the concept of DOs to our new Commission members, but this is just the start. We will have some much more detailed opportunity to discuss training. I'm certain that Lisa, when she will provide you with some training on the NSCA, will spend a lot of time on the various actors within the CNSC, the inspectors, designated officers, and your role when compared to these. So in this report, the Commission's recommendations for DO reporting and program improvements, including the DO forum, were addressed. Those were issues that were raised at the last time we presented before this Commission, and there was a lot, as Monica has mentioned, a lot of improvements were made since last year. Looking ahead to the next report, detailed reporting for DO authorities carried out in 2017 will be compiled. We are intending to provide the 2017 report this year in 2018, so there will not be that lapse of time between the information presented today and that was for the year 2016. The report may also be modified because of internal discussions pertaining to whether we need to be as fulsome in this report, given that a lot of the designated officer information in terms of numbers is already provided in some of the regulatory oversight reports. So in that context, we'll be looking for some direction from the Commission as to whether the usefulness of this report, whether you want it to be done on an annual basis, and whether you want it to concentrate more on the DO program itself and not on the numbers of DO activities or authorities, given that these will be reflected in various RORs, except from some areas. Another update on the DO program improvement initiatives will also be provided in the next iteration of this report, and this will include an update on the DO Community Forum that's taking place next month, with lessons learned and improvements for the subsequent forums. Finally, DO documentation and supporting tools will continue to be updated throughout 2018. This concludes our presentation today. I would be remiss if I was not to thank, on behalf of Monica and myself, all the DOs that have contributed information to this report, and many of the key DOs that are here in the room today, and who will very likely direct some of your substantive questions. Thank you.
Thank you.